On today's Minute of the Apes, have you guys ever looked into penis extension surgery? So they do this thing where they cut the base at the tendon to kind of get you about an inch more. Well, I went out with a guy once that had that surgery done, and the problem is you lose a lot of stability. You can maintain some rigidity, but there's just no stability in it at all. Well, that reminds me, the orangutan in this opening credit scene here, right here.
Keep going. This is brilliant.
It just reminds me that I'll never forget a bad bang.
Divine bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a gentleman. There is fire, there is smoke.
The minute of the apes. 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 Yay!
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time.
One barking dog at a time.
So we start with a barking dog off the top, and I thought, okay, that's it. And I think then my face went, what? The moment you started talking penis extension surgery. He was so proud of himself he had the tease, and I'm like, okay, great. Richard always has great teases, and that was a fantastic one. Holy crap.
That was, I thought about it just moments before. Well, you know, it opens up on this orangutan that's got like this real, like they just didn't cut his hair. Everybody else is like these perfectly widow's peak, and he's got this little shag hanging down over his brow that's just got one peak, and you're like, it looks kind of badly done.
And that made you think of penis extensions.
That just made me think of a bad bang, and I had to go back to last time I had a bad bang.
For some reason, I feel like I've heard the story of the penis extension date before.
I might have. I don't know.
I don't know which part of this I'm just more aghast. I mean, just the bad bang, the penis extension. And it's the first episode
that's
and
right.
We've been together.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. So we had roughly a week off where you all know we posted out we weren't going to release episodes, and just again to reiterate, we did have a few people reach out. It was mostly me taking a little extra time to be with my kid before I left her in Colorado. But we're back.
You left her.
I left her. I just dumped her on the side of the road. We're back. We're going to finish these last 7 episodes and get done with Battle. So that, the movie I've been waiting for is next. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. Man, I am so excited to get there.
You stand Burton's.
I keep telling myself that.
I have not watched this since I saw it in the theater. I mean, I've seen like a couple of minutes here and there on cable. I don't remember being as bad as you guys think that it is. Maybe I'll think about it. Maybe I'll agree with you once we get there. I just remember being, this is a fun little sci-fi romp. I mean, outside of the normal, Tim Burton tropes, they're like, okay.
It does get a little tiresome. I just watched Dark Shadows the other day. It was on HBO, and I was like, really?
Wait, did he do Dark Shadows too?
Yeah. It's like the best he can
do something original anymore? I mean, it's like,
no.
Here's a
Wait,
property.
didn't he do Big Eyes?
Big Fish.
Big Fish.
No, Big Eyes. About the painter that draws people with big eyes.
I don't know if he did that or not.
But he did Big Fish too, right?
He did Big Fish.
Which I like, but that was based on a book.
I did like that. And I don't mind you adapting things like that, but it has gotten to the point where he's almost this perfunctory, let's pull him in and like Dumbo and
what are
Big
the
Eyes.
pop culture
Really?
thing that I liked as a child that I can do now kind of thing,
Yeah. Okay. We digress. We can talk Tim Burton tons when we get there. It's minute 81. Sean, tell us what's going on.
All right, we start minute 81 with Ape has killed Ape and ends with us literally chasing a character up a tree for dramatic purposes.
All right, here we go. Minute 81. Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Ape has killed Ape. 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 Ape has killed Ape.
as of minute 81, we have a surprisingly alive village worth of apes and humans, plus a much smaller ghost city's worth of radioactive people.
I'm so glad you got tongue-tied because I did that earlier and I thought, has it really been that long? That I'm But here we go. Visually, we start with a shot of Aldo. Then we go to the banger orangutan as he goes and chants. Everyone's chanting. We get tons of shots, pushes into Caesar. We get a shot of the three gorillas that, guess what? It's the same shot lifted from earlier that they reuse here with them drawing their swords up.
It is the same shot because I was going to ask you specifically about why suddenly they didn't have guns and they just like, we're just going to put our guns down and here's a sword. Same scene. Wow,
minute 61, I went in and I was like, okay, is that the same? And sure enough, it's the exact same. It's just before Aldo steps in. You know, in the previous shot, we see Aldo step into it. They cut before that. So then we get Aldo again. It's just back and forth, pushes to all the apes within the area as the ape shall not kill ape chant begins. Aldo's camera goes out of focus. Then we see shots of Aldo climbing a tree. He begins to try to get away from the throng and Caesar following him into said tree. So there we are. I want to say to your orangutan, and I think I said this last time we were together, I can't decide if he has the worst hero makeup or the best because it's sort of asymmetrical and it's, you know, I like it. I like the thing, but it is weird now that you said that. It's almost like he has a widow's peak with his.
Well, he's got bangs hanging down over his head, whereas all the other gorillas specifically have the hairline that you can see.
Right.
So it's a little distracting from that standpoint. And you're right. It's a weird mixture of like, is it good? Is it bad? Clearly, they wanted to focus on him, so they put some time onto the makeup.
Right.
So it had to be very, very intentional. The only thing that I really didn't like about this minute more than anything else is I wish the chanting for the minute had started more organically and we heard it on mics in the scene before it moved into just ADR all around. I like it muting at the end of the minute as the intensity comes up with Aldo's fleeing.
Right.
But I would love to have had that the ape killed ape a little bit more
organic
before it just becomes a tone.
I do like, and I really tried to pay attention to it more here, is how the rhythmic nature of the music begins to fit into the chant, except that, it starts with the boom, 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 and then it has a weird on the offbeat. It's just this weird, it feels like it's not in sync, and then it comes back to it. So I like a lot of that, like you're saying. I think it's a very powerful moment. I like seeing Aldo's fear.
I was about to say, at 30 seconds in, it looks like he's about to cry as he's about to climb the tree.
Claude is doing that thing that we talk about with Roddy all the time. Like, he really is pushing the emotion through the mask and through his eyes. They're watered. I mean, he looks like he's in a panic.
Yeah, it looks to me like, crap, I'm going to have to climb this goddamn tree, aren't I?
No. Fear, regret. I mean, all of those emotions are coming through with the fact that he's got this giant prosthetic on his face.
Yeah, I had the same almost exact note just saying, is Aldo crying? And I kind of like it if he is. I would have liked to have seen maybe earlier in the film something that would precipitate his quick change from aggressive, overbearing to being fragile. I think that the best of mean characters have that underneath them. That easily hurt.
Maybe
element.
Showing his subordinates pulling out their sabers or whatever is showing that even the people that supported him before have turned against him, and so that's why he's upset. Before he had an army behind him, before he had people supporting him. Now nobody's supporting him, so he's really freaked out.
I do, to that point, Sean, and I went because I went to look at the pulling of the swords. They do cut from Aldo looking to his right. And those apes are left to right, so it insinuates that he is looking at them as they draw the swords. So it's very powerful in that regard. It's the same shot again. If we can forgive that, it's a powerful cut. I just wish that again, maybe we would have seen the fragility of Aldo, so it would tell us that he would be this moved and this terrified should it turn.
Well, something we don't often see as well with the shots of the apes is we get a lot of Aldo in profile as he's kind of looking down and shaking his head left and right a little bit, which we don't see a lot of ape in profile. It's usually kind of direct on.
Right.
So you can see the eyes and you can see the emotion they're doing, but he's actually kind of looking away and turning, and I thought that was just kind of looking down, shaking his head, and again, a lot of profile. I thought that was kind of well done.
I agree. And whenever we get to the point when Caesar begins following him into the tree, I really like that Thompson decides to shoot through the tiny branches. to make us feel as though we're there with them. If you start looking roughly at about, I think 35 seconds, 38,
Right.
all of the shots following them have branches in front. So and then they go to wides where we see them climb. But it's that feeling of, you get that with all the pushes in the camera, but now using the branches to make it feel like the world's closing in.
I did laugh at the pointing ape was still pointing for this scene. Like he has his finger up, like ape has killed ape. Aldo killed, like it was his finger up. I do like that. Claude is backing into the tree and breaking some of the branches as he's trying to climb up the tree. As there's a little bit of desperation. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you have an actual live prop like this. You can't really destroy it. So he breaks one branch, and it gives us the idea that he's kind of trying to flee. Just so you know, the tree is in the script, so they had to go and find this tree.
So they definitely called for the run for the tree.
Well, they had a little small scene before where Caesar grabs part of the chain from the fence, and they kind of have a little moment, like a small little tussle before going to the tree, but the tree is in the script.
Well, I can see the obvious desire by a writer, a storyteller, to say you killed a child from up in a tree. Let's send you to that same tree, the symmetry of that.
The symmetry?
Symmetry. Wow. It took me, it was not until Richard laughed that I thought, oh, damn. It's one of those minutes where there's a ton of cool things. And again, that audio mix may be very indicative of the times of the 70s. They may not have thought, they didn't have the stereo surrounds like we have now and thought to play with that some. Nowadays, you really would have almost a whisper back behind you, ape shall not kill ape, ape, and they would overlap. But it's a cool minute.
Do you think that was Claude actually climbing in the tree, or do you think it was a stunt double? Because that's putting one of your main actors pretty high off the ground with what we can doesn't look like any support system. It looks like they just had, if it's a stuntman, you have more faith in their ability to take care of themselves when they're up there. But when it's an actor just climbing a tree,
we're going to spend some time in the next couple days
talking about the tree.
I actually had those notes for later on. Okay. One of the things I did notice is that Aldo is now wearing shoes.
Yeah.
He's not climbing in ape feet. He's got tiny shoes on to kind of navigate
tiny shoes.
Tiny shoes.
Big gorilla tiny shoes.
Well, they're not boots either. They're definitely some type of black slip-ons that will help him climb a little bit better.
I didn't really look at his feet.
It's very costly.
Yeah, they don't have the where it looks like an ape foot.
They don't have the ape foot on
that is true.
Yeah. There's little black dance shoes.
It's almost like he's lounging. He might have his dinner jacket on.
He took off
Get
his
me my pipe and slippers.
Exactly.
Suddenly, Otto is very dignified as he climbs into the tree. Well, again, not a ton happens from action standpoint, but it does layer in that we definitely are going to get some revenge of some sort. Something is going to come.
Battle.
That's right. Do you guys have anything else you want to throw in?
That's it from me.
All right, that's minute 81 of the books. Gosh, we're so close to this end of this movie.
I know.
And it's only taken us like 33 years to do this.
It's only taken a pandemic to get to.
Exactly. All right, well, we will be back tomorrow. Until then, for Rich and Sean, I'm Todd. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the ape. The minute